Wu Wei is an extremely powerful, dynamic form of manifestation that is practiced by Taoist wizards to achieve their greatest, most profound, probable manifested reality. It's really the same thing that happens when these Taoist sorcerers are performing magic. There's no way to do anything within the Taoist understanding of sorcery without there being Wu Wei. It's not possible. So, unfortunately, this idea of Wu Wei has been misunderstood. It's been watered down. The official, if you go look this up on the internet, you're going to see the definition of Wu Wei as being acting without acting. And it's just, don't fight and just go with the flow. Just like go with the flow, man. No, that is very passive. And that unfortunately gets conflated with a lot of potentially codependent behaviors where you allow yourself to be abused or manipulated. This is something that people misunderstand. If, let's say, they're in an abusive relationship, they'll just go, you just go with the flow, don't fight it. No, that is not what Wu Wei is. Wu Wei is not a tactic that is used in order to sort of turn you into a zombie. Because people think that spirituality means you don't have any desires, you don't have any feelings, and that is 100% false. We have spiritualized denial and going catatonic. These things are not spiritual. So what is Wu Wei? Wu Wei means acting without acting. It's one of the translations. But I'm here to tell you it's a very dynamic, very powerful practice. And it is the practice that guarantees that you are able to align the most perfect, probable reality into manifestation that will bring you the most intense joy, the most fun adventure, and will bring you the most health and the most prosperity. And it is absolutely a magical act. So how do we do it? Well, the first thing we need to know is that Wu Wei, again, is not passive. It doesn't mean just sitting back and letting things take you somewhere. Wu Wei, in order for it to accomplish its goal of bringing you the most powerful, probable reality, is it has to be activated by you. You have to dynamically activate it. Just like I'm a surfer. If I go out there and sit on my surfboard, it doesn't mean I'm going to catch a wave. I have to be in the right spot, and then I have to begin paddling for the wave, and then the wave picks me up. I have to initiate it. If I don't initiate it, nothing's going to happen. The same is true here. So hopefully I'll be able to explain exactly how this works. So let's get right on into it. So, preliminaries for a successful Wu Wei. Intuition guides you, desire drives you, joy experiences you. So a good Taoist sorcerer is constantly aligning him or herself with the three powers of this reality. Christianity has the Trinity. By the way, there's nothing in the New Testament or the Old Testament that talks about a Trinity. Nothing. Zero. Why is that part of their belief? Because the pre-Christian European pagans who converted to Christianity understood the power of the Trinity. So they sort of found a way to stick it in there. So the Taoists understand the Trinity. My Norse ancestors understood it. They called it Odin, Vili, and Ve. The Vedic Hindus have Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu. Modern times we have mind, body, spirit. So the Taoist Trinity, in a practical sense, is heaven, earth, I'm touching my navel, and man. And so this beautiful little saying here, which didn't come to me, it didn't come from me, it was given to me by a powerful being as I was getting ready for this. It's intuition guides you, your higher self, your third eye. Desire drives you, your navel center, and joy experiences you. And these are the three things that will happen. Your intuition will sort of guide you in a direction. Your desire will kick in very strongly. So if you think that Wu Wei is some kind of Zen passive, I don't have any feelings, I'm a zombie. No, your desire kicks in. Without that, Wu Wei doesn't get activated. We'll talk about that. So the desire kicks in, and then the end result is that you experience joy. And that's the end goal. Your soul, end goal of your soul is fulfillment and joy. Intuition, desire, joy. All right, so preliminaries for a successful Wu Wei, you must be able to feel your soul desire. So most people don't know how to do that. If you don't know what your soul desire is, don't worry, most people don't. Our modern society has guilted you out of it, and it has been one of the most aggressive hypnosis attacks on the human race ever. So if you don't know what your soul desire is, don't worry, most people don't. If you want to know what your soul desire is, you can get a session with me. So far, every single person that I've worked with, if I have at least an hour, I can help them find out what their true soul desire. Now, whether or not they follow through is a whole different story. But you, in order to activate Wu Wei, by the way, Wu Wei guarantees that you will have the most amazing, most exciting, most wonderful, most fulfilling, probable reality manifesting. Wu Wei guarantees that. But it has to be activated. First thing is you got to know what your soul desire is. Second one is you must eliminate all people pleasing. So you cannot activate Wu Wei if you are living in a way where you are living for other people in any way. If you are living for the government, if you are living for your job, if you are living for money, if you are living for your parents, your spouse, if you are living based on wanting to be loved and accepted. I know this is a base experience that a lot of humans have, but if you're operating from that, you cannot activate Wu Wei. So you have to eliminate that. 3, you must trust that you deserve joy. So before we go any further, get all of the virtue signaling out of your head, because most people want to, they hear that, and that's a spiritual thing, self-care, and I love that for myself, and I'm going to go after, just really taking care of me. And really what they're doing is damage control. They're giving themselves a weekend off, and they say, yeah, I'm really into self-care. No, what's happening is you're just getting yourself prepared to go back into the grinder. So you must trust that you deserve joy. So I want you to just sit with yourself for a second. And I want you to ask yourself that question. I know you're supposed to say yes. I know that you're supposed to say yes to the question, do you deserve joy? But I want you to listen to the feeling that comes up. Does your body feel shameful at that thought? Do you feel like your first responsibility is to go work your ass off, go accomplish something, go be somebody, go make a lot of money, be successful, take care of your spouse, take care of your kids, take care of God? I mean, if that's what comes up first and you feel any kind of shame over you experiencing joy 24/7, 365. That's okay. Most people have that, but you have to acknowledge that. In order to overcome it, you can't, again, and what people do is they try and guilt themselves out of that. They virtue signal. No, I spent the whole weekend and I went to a spa and I drank a lot and I just took care of myself. So, you must trust that you deserve joy. You must determine exactly what you want. Not make up exactly what you want. Not decide exactly what you want. You must determine. Your soul desire was born into you. People want to know, what is God's will? Very simple. God's will is the desires of your soul. And you came here with them. It was your purpose for coming here, was to experience them. You have two basic things that you're doing when you incarnate. The first one is that your soul wants to experience joy in these certain, your own specific way. And then you might have some work to do. You might have some karma to pay off, and you might have some work to do to help others. But that's part of the package. You can't do one without the other, by the way. You can't burn off your karma while avoiding your soul desire. You can't, you have to do both. And so the good news is you don't have to worry about what karma do I have to pay off. You just worry about what is going to give my soul happiness, what God wants me to do. Your soul is God, by the way. What does my soul want me to do? What does my soul want to experience? When you understand that, you'll pay off your karma. So you must determine exactly what you want. Accept that your desire is your destiny. It's basically what I said earlier, that you were born with this desire. Your soul came here to fulfill this desire. That's your destiny. That's God's will. Figure that out, you'll know what God wants from you. God always gets what he wants. If you figure out what God wants to do and you decide to do it, God will do it. Accept your desire as your destiny. Commit to living your destiny. Allow your desire to program the matrix. This is very important. Again, if you don't get over the guilt you have over your desires, this is going to be a hard concept. Again, you're not going to get rid of the feelings of guilt or worthlessness. Don't try and get rid of those feelings. That's not what I'm talking about. You have to act contrary. So you have to accept the assumption that you're God, that your greatest soul happiness is the most important spiritual thing that you can accomplish. And if your insides tell you what a piece of garbage you are and you're not worth anything, you go, okay, I hear you, but I have to do this. You do, you're a soldier. You do what your orders are, regardless of how you feel. So you don't have to worry about how you feel about it. You just have to worry about what you do. And so you accept that your desire is your destiny. You commit to living your destiny. You allow your desire to program the matrix. Now, how does this work? So your desire is already there. And either you are aware of it and you are denying it or minimizing it or compromising it, or you are completely focused like a warrior on fulfilling your deepest desires. That's really all there is to it. So in order to follow your desire, you have to know what it is. So you have to become conscious of it. And once you're conscious of it, you have to really get very specific. It can't just be, I want to be happy all the time. You have to be very specific. Your desire will be specific. And once you become aware of that, that will help to kickstart the Wu Wei process. That happens because when you are conscious of what it is that you want, now you've sent, the waiter has come and said, what is your order? And you've said, I want to surf good waves. That's the most important thing. Now I'm talking about myself. I've now given the waiter my order. Now the waiter's going to go off to the kitchen and they're going to make it and it'll get to me when it gets to me. So you have to understand that. When you understand that, you then have to I have to allow the waiter to go do his job. I have to allow the cook to go do their job. But it's important, the concept of knowing that you deserve this, and once you become aware of it and you're willing to take action on it, the universe is now going to manifest it. You still have to take it and experience it. That comes later. But in order for this process to get kickstarted, you have to know, consciously be very clear on what your desire is. Allow your desire to program the matrix. Follow the path that appears before you. So something will start to manifest in front of you. Maybe you'll get some intuition about it. Your feelings might start telling you, or your body. I listen to my body a lot. My body starts telling me when it's not happy. I might intellectually have everything I think I want, but my body will go, this isn't doing it. So I listen to make sure that I'm conscious of what my true soul desire is at any given time. And so the path will appear before you if you follow this. Now, the blocks in your life show you the wrong path. For instance, in my life, I've just now come to the decision, September 17th, I made this decision. So just a little over a month ago, I made the decision that I was going to travel across the country for half of the year during the winter and the spring. And I was going to go to different surfing wave pools and surf them to get away from the freezing cold. I mean, North Florida's cold. It's cold and there aren't any waves for half of the year. I am miserable. One of the most miserable times of my life have been in Florida, North Florida in the winter. So I finally pulled my head out of my rear end and I've stopped looking for one place that I live in all the time in Florida because I don't want to be here half the time. I hate it here half the time. I just became aware of that. And then I realized, after doing a little bit of looking, I saw there's all these professional surf wave pools that are popping up. There's going to be 3 that are going to be constructed this year alone. And there's 2 that were constructed and opened this year. So it's very, very coincidental that when I decide this is what I want to do, they pop up out of nowhere. This is how this works. I became clear on exactly what I wanted to do. I became flexible, and then the exact thing I was looking for popped up. I get to go all the way over to the desert in California, where it's the warmest in the United States during the winter, and I get to surf without having to deal with the garbage and the pollution and the crowds of Southern California waves. So you follow the path that appears before you. The blocks in your life show you the wrong path. For me, the block in my life was that no matter how hard I tried to rent a place here, and sign a lease, a year lease continues, I couldn't do it. Everything fell apart. No matter how hard I tried, it just kept falling apart. But the one house that I can rent for 6 months out of the year is the perfect place. I mean, I wouldn't live anywhere else during the summer and the fall. And that's exactly when this house is available to me. So I'm just listening to what is popping up in front of me. And when I do that, the greatest adventure and happiness starts happening for me. This is Wu Wei, but I had to activate it. So take opportunities that arise. Trust that resources will appear. This is going to be some of the most difficult things. I've certainly felt this difficulty, where what ends up happening is, needs to get put back on. What ends up happening is that you get distracted. Trust that resources will appear. You actually do. You get distracted over, how am I going to pay for this? because you might have to quit your job. You might have to relocate. You might have to, like me, not have a permanent residence. Who knows what'll happen, and your fears are going to kick in because the self-devaluation path is going to want you to stay dependent on something, a job, a career, a relationship, a something. But the universe is going to go, no, your joy is going to be this. And you may very well have to walk away from the things that you've depended on, that you believe have been taking care of you. And you may not know where your resources are going to come from. So you have to trust. Because again, the matrix has to obey God. It has to. So your soul is God, and the desires of your soul are God's will. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get $1 billion. People do this. Well, I have to make enough money first. I'm like, what do you mean? Do you have enough money right now to do it for the next, month, 2 months, 6 months? Well, yeah. So then go do that. Then when you need more resources, the universe will provide for it. Because if it doesn't, it means that you're not God. This is where you have to be in that state of trust. You have to trust that you deserve to be here, that you deserve joy, that you are God, and you must trust that the universe will provide you with resources. All right, here are actions based in these feelings that will sabotage your Wu Wei success. Fear. Any actions you take based in fear will backfire on you. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean that you are going to be free of the feeling of fear. In fact, taking action towards your desire may very well create a lot of fear. That's okay. It's just a feeling. People ask me all the time, how do I get over my fear so I can take action? I said, when did I ever say you were supposed to get over your fear? You're not supposed to get over your fear. You're supposed to take action. As my ancestors said, those who die in battle go to Valhalla, not those who get over their fear and then walk onto the battlefield knowing they're going to win. No. You walk out there thinking you might get your head chopped off and you're scared to death, but you go into battle anyway. Those are the people that go to Valhalla. The people who achieve Wu Wei, who get the flow where the universe seemingly effortlessly brings to you your most amazing, wonderful, possible reality. Those people may very often be having a lot of fears, a lot of doubts, a lot of other shame, guilt, confusion, all kinds of feelings may come up. But remember, when you get your orders from the general says, go take that hill, take 2 squadrons and go take that hill. You know exactly what you're supposed to do, but you might be full of fear and confusion and all kinds of other things. But if you don't go take that hill, he's going to come and take your head. That's why Roman soldiers, they had armor on the front, but not the back, because they weren't allowed to turn around and run away. They knew they had to go forward. Doesn't mean they weren't afraid. So stop trying to get rid of your fears. This is a lie that you've been told. Our ancestors didn't live like this. Our ancestors looked for ways to put themselves in situations that were risky, that would bring up fear. They used to look for it because they knew that's where you found glory. If it was easy, if it was safe, they knew that they weren't going to go to Valhalla. They weren't going to achieve what they wanted. Taoists understand it in their way, which is that they know if they don't operate from their authentic self and allow, once they've activated the Wu Wei process and then flow with that, they know they're not going to get their greatest probability, or they might have some magical act they're looking to create. I can tell you from the martial arts aspect of doing the Maoshan martial arts, we'll do more and more videos of practical applications, and you'll see that it takes 0 physical effort, 0. In fact, once you start putting muscle into it, the energy goes away. But when you take all of the muscle out of it and you flow with the movements, wham, there's so much power in there that nobody can defend themselves against. So Wu Wei, it works in martial arts as well. It works in fighting evil spirits. It works in flowing with the Tao in whatever activity you are doing, as long as you are operating from your authentic self. So actions based in fear, not the feeling, but the actions will sabotage it. Actions based in anger. Again, you can feel anger, but if your actions are motivated and based on anger, resentment, you are not in Wu Wei, and it will backfire on you. Actions based in greed. This comes from fear. You can't be greedy unless you're full of fear. The richest men in the world, who have billions and billions and billions of dollars, that have more money, banks that have access to trillions of dollars, and it's never enough, they are operating from fear. Greed comes from the belief that you don't deserve to be taken care of, that you have to amass as much as possible because it's going to get taken from you, you don't deserve it, you have to fight for it. It all comes from fear. So any actions based in greed, wanting to get rich off of something, needing to keep that job, like my friend I've told you about numerous times, who was a musician when I met him in college. I saw him 15 years ago, and he had this really great job. He saw me. I was living what I'm telling you. I just started out. I had no money. I'd just gotten divorced, and I didn't know where, I was going to get enough money to pay rent for my little studio apartments that I was living in. But I wasn't going to do a job that I couldn't stand, and I was only going to do what I wanted, and I was going to make money doing things that I wanted to do. He saw me and he said, "I'm so jealous of you." I said, "What are you talking about? You've got all this money. You've got this house in the mountains." And he goes, "Yeah, but I'm miserable." He says, "I'm a slave to the money. I'm so afraid of not having it." And he said, "I wish I could live like you." And I said, "Dude, freaking sell your house, take that money, and go live in a studio apartment somewhere and start making music." He didn't do that. And within, I don't know how long it took, a year or so, he ended up having an aneurysm, and he had to marry some woman he didn't love because he needed somebody to take care of him. One of the most pathetic things I've ever seen. He was operating from greed, fear, competition. If you think that somebody else is going to outdo you, you don't understand that, number one, that you're God. You don't understand that you deserve everything that you want. You don't understand that every single person deserves everything that they want. There's no limit on oxygen. Doesn't matter how many people are on the planet, we're not going to, by breathing, get rid of the oxygen. And the same is true with resources. No matter what you're being told, it's all a lie. There's no shortage of resources. The earth can create far more resources than we can consume. So acting out of competition is, again, coming from fear. It means you don't love yourself. Any actions that you take based on that is not Wu Wei. Shame, that should be obvious. Any actions that you take based on self-hatred, fear, guilt, unworthiness, that is not Wu Wei. You can have those feelings, just don't act on them. Act on the feelings based on your desire, even if they frighten you and make you feel shameful. Don't act on your shame. Any actions based on guilt, insecurity, self-devaluation, obviously, all of these feelings are based on the belief that you don't deserve to be loved, period. All right, Wu Wei is activated by joy. So one of the first things that happens when you seek to become conscious of your soul desire, it may take a lot of work to get that process and get past all of the minds and the garbage in your mind. But at some point, you're going to find it. And when that happens, you're going to feel a spark of joy. It might just be for an instant. It might be for a whole day. It might be for a week. My experience is it's just a passing poof. You'll feel a joy. Oh my God, that would be so great. And in that moment, you will kind of get high off of that, and you'll see yourself experiencing it, and you'll know that you could do it, and it's amazing and it's wonderful. Now, whenever that happens, write it down. Write down what it is that you want to do, what you know is going to bring you joy. The thing that you think, oh, now I've got it, I'm going to pull it off, I'm not going to forget it. Write it down. My experience is the next day you wake up and you're like, what the hell was I thinking? I'm going to go do that? I can't do that. I don't deserve that. That's not going to work. I need money. All this garbage is going to come up. So that's the stuff that is meaningless. The stuff that's the meaningful is when the joy hits you. When the joy hits you, you know that's your soul talking. And that's God telling you what to do. That's the general saying, okay, here's your orders. You don't have to like them the next day, but you have to go do them. If you want to experience that joy, you're going to have to do what your soul tells you to do. So joy is the first thing that happens, and that's how you know you've tapped into what you want. Wu Wei is activated by conscious awareness of your desire. So you've had the initial joy that hits you, you wrote it down, but writing it down means now you're conscious of it. Again, if you don't write it down, you might lose consciousness of it. You might wake up the next day and go, what was it I was going to do? I can't remember. God, I got to go to work. So when you have the awareness of it, even afterwards, when the joy has dissipated, the spirit showing up and giving you that orgasmic view into the next world, when that has dissipated, then you have to make yourself conscious of it again. You look at the paper and you say, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive across the country to places I've never been, and I'm going to surf in wave pools. That's what I'm going to do. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. And you tell yourself, you reprogram yourself on what you know that your joy told you was. That activates Wu Wei. When you do that, then the flow of the energy starts going in the direction that it's supposed to go. Remember, you've given your order to the waiter, who's now told it to the cook, and the cook is cooking it up. So don't get up and leave the restaurant. Stay in the restaurant. Go, what the hell did I just order? Why did I order that? Oh my God, I'm so afraid of that. No, wait for it. It's coming. So you have figured out what gives you joy. You have now consciously reaffirmed and continue to consciously reaffirm to yourself what it is that you truly want. And that creates the energy which will then start flowing in a direction. Wu Wei is activated by actions to fulfill your desire. So in order for me to live my new soul desire, I have to put a few things in storage. I have to sell off some stuff. I have to make sure my car is functioning well. I got to get in my car and I got to drive to some city I've never been in and stay in a rental. And, I got to do, I've done stuff like that before, but still, that's what I got to do. I got to go take that action. If I don't show up, I'm not going to be able to experience it. So you've got to take actions. And this has nothing to do, again, with how you feel. But these three things, the joy, when you find the joy and it happens, the mechanism starts whirring, getting ready to go. You then become completely conscious and you reaffirm consciously what your soul desire is, what you want to experience, what is going to bring you joy. Then the waiter is now handing the order to the cook, who's now getting all of the ingredients, and then you take actions on it. The actions that you take speed up the cook's ability to make your food and bring it to you. And then follow everything else. Just watch what happens. If you think you need to do something, you start going towards it, and it just won't let you gain any traction. You're going against a closed door. Give it up and go and allow yourself to flow in another direction. Listen to your intuition. Listen to people. People will pop up and say things, and to get you looking in certain directions. Just listen to the signs. Now you're in the flow. Once you're no longer in denial, when you're no longer acting unconsciously to sabotage, you're now in the flow, and now you can listen and flow with it. Yeah, you'll bump into things and go, oh, that's not the way to go. And, for instance, like when I'm looking for a place to live, I'll look at a few and I'll contact a few. And the interesting thing is only one person will get back to me. And I'll go, oh, that's where I'm supposed to live next. Those kinds of things. When you're going with Wu Wei, you go with the path of least resistance. But again, you have to activate it. That's my experience. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to learn the power of what the Taoist sorcerers really are capable of, and having the ability to know how to choose and alter the physical probability that's manifesting in this world, I encourage you to take a look at what we're teaching here. You got two websites here, maoshan.thunderwizard.com and thunderwizard.com. So I've talked about all of those things that you can do. If you go to thunderwizard.com and click on shop, you'll see Maoshan summoning the immortals. In that practice, you see I'm bringing it to you. You want to learn how to bring things to you? That practice will help. That is a practice that if you do it, and you experience the energy. I've taught Maoshan energy practices for 30 plus years. And every person that I've taught who was a Qigong master, Tai Chi master, yoga master, people who were masters of Qigong that knew everything there is to know about Taoist energy practices, when they do the Maoshan practices, they get back to me and they say, I've never felt anything at this high level of frequency. And so I encourage you to feel the energy that I'm talking about. And the easiest way to do that is to do the Maoshan Summoning the Immortals. It costs you $29. If you don't like it, you've only lost $30 and you know that I'm full of crap and you can stop watching me. But if you feel it, then I'm here to share with you the rest of this tradition, which I'm ready to share with the whole world. So you can go to the shop again. You can look at Celestial Qigong, the foundation of the Maoshan energy work. And you can also see, if you look to the left there, the Maoshan 5-element shamanic spirit fighting forms, and all 5 of the elements: wood, metal, fire, water, earth. Get them in that order, which is the order which is used to destroy evil. Wood, metal, fire, water, earth. And get all of those. You can get those at maoshan.thunderwizard.com or thunderwizard.com. We are now in the first stage of the shifting to 5D. And that first stage is the lower navel center, which is the power center, your desire. That is being shifted up to a higher frequency in all humans. And those who follow with that shift in their navel center will be able to shift up and create a brand new world. So there are practices that will help you with that. The one that I recommend if you're brand new is this one, the Dark Warrior of the North, Tortoise and Snake Maoshan Martial Qigong form, which can be found at both maoshan.thunderwizard.com and thunderwizard.com in the shop. If you want a daily practice, like a daily yoga practice that will activate Kundalini, that will activate Qi in your meridians, and activate the Maoshan electromagnetic heart energy, then I have combined all of these into one practice, which we call the Lightning Qigong. You can find that when you click on thunderwizard.com and click on memberships. And when you do that, you will see Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. I recommend that you look at that. Anyway, look at both of these websites. If you have any questions, ask me. I'll be happy to guide you. And that's it, my friends. The path of Wu Wei means activating a dynamic flow of universal energy, which will take you to the most beautiful, amazing, fulfilling, and dynamic, probable reality you could ever create for yourself. We can keep talking about this if you want. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. I will see you all very soon.